If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Weirding Way Media.
Right, Mr. Walters?
You see that guy over there? Now, he's an actor. The guy on the phone? He's a prize fighter. Me? I'm a cab driver. I'm the only cab driver in this place.
Good evening and welcome to Night Mr. Walters, a taxi podcast. I am HP, your co-host, and with me as always is my co-host, Father Malone. Father Malone, how are you this evening?
Brown with tan marbling, rose-colored thread.
We'll explain exactly what that means as we talk about this episode. We are talking Taxi Season 2, Episode 8, A Woman Between Friends. This was written by Ken Eston, and it was directed by James Burrows. Reminder, we are doing these shows in broadcast order and not in order of filming. We open here with our customary B-roll. We're outside of Mario's during the day. And this one's cool because we actually see Alex walking into the restaurant. The last few episodes were on a tear where we actually see Judd Hirsch driving the cab, running around, trying to find Angela in the city. I love this.
Yeah, they made the most of their whatever one-day excursion to Manhattan with Judd Hirsch and a camera crew. Because I've noticed in the next few episodes, it's going to happen a lot. Not only do we get the Mario's thing, the Mario's B-roll is kind of unremarkable. I mean, it's remarkable here only because Judd Hirsch is involved, but it's usually just like an establishing shot. There's nothing fancy about it. But if you add the fucking funky bass line and electric piano that they came up with for this one, are you kidding me?
You had mentioned, I don't know what episode it was, but there was one episode where the song, it was like Ride Like the Wind by Christopher Cross. I need to start keeping track of which songs, because these are all on this song. I think it's called The Genie. It's Bob James's soundtrack to Taxi, essentially. So it's all there. I just have to put the song to the episode. But yeah, it's great. I love when they can cut in some funky Bob James. When we cut inside of Mario's, we can clearly see that Alex isn't wearing the same clothes that he had when he walked in the establishing B-roll shot. So
now they would just CGI them over. Maybe we should do the Taxi special editions, HP, where we correct all of the visual mistakes with CGI.
The remastered edition.
Facial replacement and stuff. Like we add Reverend Jim to more episodes in the first season, just sort of walking in the background.
Just kind of hovering on the periphery so we know
100% more Latka, like
Bobby and Alex and Elaine are at a table and Alex is moaning that the beer's too cold. He's establishing what is essentially the B plot of this episode, such as it is.
B that rhymes with D and that stands for dentist. Oh, we've got a dentist subplot. Sitcom gold, everybody.
Spoiler alert, this is my least favorite part of the whole episode, and that's saying something. But
Everyone
let's get into
hates
this.
the dentist episode. Nobody likes it. There's only one portrayal of a dentist on screen that's ever been tolerable, and that was Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors. That was it. And even that was rough. So Alex don't want to go to no dentist, but Elaine gonna make him go to the dentist. I noticed that Elaine has dropped all of her Ayn Randisms. She's no longer like, you know what you should do? You should either shut the fuck up or you should get your tooth fixed. Well, either way, get out of mine.
Yeah, where was this attitude of, you know what, Alex, some people just can't be helped. You can't be helped, Alex. I don't want to hear anything about it unless you move on it. Don't bother me with this business. But all of a sudden
Here's $2. Go get yourself some pliers. Otherwise, shut your mouth. You're part of the problem.
here's a long string. I'm going to tie it around this doorknob and the other end, Old West style, around your tooth, and I'm going to slam the door. Let's get rid of that.
They shouldn't they have just done that? Gone the full sitcom route, like they tie it to the back of the cab, like Tony tries to punch it out. No, just right here, Tony. Just right here. I'm a professional.
Not to belabor the point, but yes, Alex has a bad tooth and he's complaining about it, but he doesn't like to go to the dentist. So that's essentially that's what we're in for this B plot. It's just him avoiding going to the dentist. Strap in. At that point, a beautiful blonde in a trench coat walks into the bar.
Gonna put your trench coat theory to the test right now.
This is what did I call it? Not Chekhov's trench coat. No.
Chekhov's trench coat, right? It's got to be one of three things, according to you.
She's she's naked or she's a spy.
Right. Or one for comedic effect. There was a third, just random comedic effect. None of those proved to be true, although her outfit underneath is horrifying.
It's awful. Her outfit put me in the mind of the video for Let's Get Physical by Olivia Newton-John, where she's kind of in this bright pink and blue and pastel colored workout suit. That's what this woman's wearing.
Yeah, so, she was on her way back from filming one of those videos of the three girls in aerobics clothes just working out, you know? Seemed to be on every channel because we were all working out with it.
She walks in and Bobby is immediately smitten. The woman's name we'll find out is Janet, is played by an actress named Connie Forslund. Were you aware of Connie and her work, Father Malone?
No, not even remotely.
It's fairly interesting. She has had a surprisingly robust career, including she's had roles on ER, Castle. She was even in the movie The River's Edge.
Love it.
But what I love best about her resume is she did her best Tina Louise impression when she played Ginger in the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, I do remember her from that.
Yes, she faced off against future Oscar winner Martin Landau. He was the bad guy in that movie or that TV. I guess it was
the anti-Howl, right? He was like the Lex Luthor version of Howl.
Basically,
Martin Landau, and so he was automatically insane.
Not to get sidetracked, but his career took a lot of interesting twists and turns to Ed Wood for sure.
Space 1999 took place 25 years ago, HB. Where's the moon? We got blasted out of orbit. That's the end of Earth. That was the happy beginning to their sci-fi show.
That was the plot, wasn't it? I think the last time I saw an episode I was legitimately probably 6 or 7. It's been so long.
I saw one just a year or so ago, and they're actually very good. They're much better than I remember them being. There's one that's actually genuinely frightening. There's a horror episode. I don't even know how we got here.
Because we're talking about the Harlem Globetrotters, Gilligan's Island. Anyway, let's get back to Mario's here.
Lark Lemon and the Buccaneers. I just want to say that because it doesn't get said enough. Everyone says Harlem Globetrotters. Nobody ever says the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers? What was the Buccaneers?
Meadowlark Lemon had his own troupe. Meadowlark Lemon and the Buccaneers.
Get the hell out of here. Are you serious? It was a competing team?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah,
did they tour and everything?
Absolutely they did. Were they successful? No. But they had that name. Meadowlark Lemon and the Buccaneers.
I did see when my son was real young, I took him to see the Harlem Wizards, which might predate the Globetrotters actually, but it's like a small scale Globetrotters. They come to a school and they play a pickup game against like that school's coach and principal and a few teachers.
They don't play against the Washington Corporals.
Tony is likewise struck by this woman who walks in, this woman in the trench coat. And then, like competing primates in the wild, Tony and Bobby start to square off against each other. Each one is insisting to the other that they saw her first. She's quote unquote theirs. It's all very sophomoric, which I guess is somehow the point and besides the point. But it reminded me of sibling rivalry episodes of lesser sitcoms. Like the Brady Bunch probably had a few episodes where like Greg and Peter are squaring off about who dated whom. It's all very silly and beneath Taxi, in my opinion. What did you think?
I think that new self-actualized Elaine Nardo is turned on by this whole display of these virile men battling each other to take what's theirs.
Maybe she's taken the John Burns role and she's puppeteering all of the cabbies to do her bidding.
Oh man, evil Nardo. I love the idea of evil Nardo. I kind of want to, we should watch the rest of the season with an eye toward that, I think.
I love that the fact that she's turned heel in wrestling parlance, basically.
And they're trying to course correct here, like real hard with her being overly motherly with Alex to the point of like, my girlfriend walked by when this episode was on. I was like, why does she care so much about his goddamn tooth? Like, he's a grown man.
Yeah, she's all over him. We've glided over that part, but essentially, Alex makes her promise, like, make me an appointment at the dentist, but don't tell me until we're just about to go because I'm such a weenie that I can't, it's too horrifying and too scary for me to worry about going to the dentist. But we will see. She, in fact, does exactly that. So Janet, this woman, takes a seat at the bar while Tony and Bobby are continuing to argue back and forth over her. It keeps devolving into, I saw her first, no, I saw her first, and back and forth. And then Alex, like someone's dad, tells them to sit back down. He's had enough. Maybe the tooth that's been nagging at him has made him a little less patient with these two children.
I don't think at that point I wouldn't need a bad tooth to tell him to shut up. Like either one of you go over there or both of you go over there, or just do something, but don't squat. I just want to eat my bread.
I just want to eat my linguine with clam sauce and my veal parm.
Extraordinary meatballs.
Seriously. But Alex decides, again, like someone's dad, to restore order by insisting that there's a better way to settle this. And Bobby suggests flipping a coin.
You know what they should have done, HP? They should have split the room down the middle.
Very Solomon-like, you get this half, I get that half, right? We haven't seen that in Different Strokes, of course. It's terrible.
Or the Brady Bunch.
Right. So Elaine is rightfully annoyed at all of this because she tries to remind them that, look, this is a person. This isn't an object to be won by a
Actually,
a
I like self-actualized Elaine here because she's not just preaching that they should rise above. She's pointing out that they're idiots because Wheeler's like, I'm an actor. I notice everything. And she forces him to like look at, so she forces him to give her the color of Rieger's shirt and he doesn't know it. And then like Banta's shirt, and he doesn't know, and he's sitting right next to them. But that's where the line I said from the beginning, like what color are the buttons on her coat? And he nails it.
He attributes it to his acumen as an actor. He can pick out all these details. Very Sherlock Holmes-like, I guess.
So she does show him how unevolved he is, but she does it in a really clever way because she makes him see like, yeah, you have that fucking skill, but you won't apply it to your goddamn friends who you're around 20 hours a day. But this girl walks by and you're hyper focused on her just because she's a girl, like a conquest.
She's very playful with it. I agree. It's one of the better aspects of this scene that Nardo is having fun at these guys' expense a little bit, but also trying to make them understand that what they're doing isn't cool. It's not evolved at all. Oh, a side note, Tony continues to do what I've called slatering in the past in honor of Saved by the Bell. He can't sit down like a normal person. He has to flip the chair 180 degrees and sit so that the back of the chair is against his chest. I don't know why. Why does he keep doing this, Father Malone?
That's that. Listen, we're in season 2 now, baby. That's what Banta does. I never see him not do it now. Like, I'm surprised if he sat down like a normal human at this point. That would shock me. I go, oh, what's wrong with Tony?
After more palavering over this poor woman, they finally get around to having Alex flip the coin. But even that devolves like who gets to call it, and it's going on for too long at this point. Eventually, Bobby wins the coin
You know what?
flip,
You're
and
right. It does go on for too long. They just get to it. Like, there's a new character they got to introduce and get rid of in 22 minutes. Can we get to her instead of this like incessant back and forth?
this is an overwritten episode for what we ultimately get, which is not much. There's really not a lot of story to hang here, but this takes way too much time to get to the point of one of these guys going over and talking to this woman. Bobby goes over there. He struts over to Janet at the bar, and he leads with one of his patented Bobby hair flips, this luxurious mane of hair that he's got. And Tony's watching this and basically reckoning with the fact that this is death for his chances to actually get anywhere with this woman. He's grousing about it the whole time. I'll never.
Well, he's a palooka and Bobby's suave.
It's true. He does have a certain raw machismo that Bobby can't ever, he can't aspire to, but he's not smooth like Bobby. There's no way. He's got no chance here.
Is he more attractive than Bobby? I think he is more attractive than Bobby Wheeler. It's a matter of taste, but come on, let's be serious here. You put those two together.
It is. And by wild coincidence, I was watching a clip of Tony Danza guest hosting The Tonight Show back in 1981, I think.
Oh, were you?
I was, and one of his guests was, of course, Mary Lou Henner, had to be. But his third guest that evening was the celebrated trash authoress, Jackie Collins.
Wow.
And she came out and she basically was fawning over him and said, "He's hot. Don't you all think that he's hot?"
My next guest is a terrific lady. She's a very successful authoress, and she has yet another bestseller out, and it's called Hollywood Husbands. Here she is, Jackie Collins.
Well, I gotta tell you, you're hot. Is he hot, ladies, or not? You really are something out here.
That's nice of you to say.
To be fair, I get the sense that Jackie Collins is just doing that everywhere she goes. Like, this bellhop. Oh my.
I didn't think of that, but you're probably right.
The water boy over here, he's delicious.
It's kind of like Hall and Oates, right? Some women really love Hall, some really love Oates, but probably there aren't many crossovers between the two of them. Some people want the dark hair and mustache, and some people want the blonde.
I think it's the same case with Hall and Oates. The problem is, and it's the problem Tony Banta is having right now, right? It's unfolding in front of his eyes, is that the others are passively attractive, but they have this other talent that supercharges their attractiveness. So Jeff Conaway's a pretty good looking guy, but when he's doing Bobby Wheeler turning on the charm, well, yeah, of course he's more attractive than Tony Banta at that point.
He's certainly more conventionally attractive for that time. I mean, the guy, he was like a heartthrob, whereas Banta is more like, would be Rocky Balboa. That was kind of his thing. But some women probably really go for that. We know from history that he was involved off screen with Mary Lou Henner for a time. So she was into him. Who's to say? I don't know. But anyhow,
I am. I said it. He's better looking than Wheeler. That's all.
So we cut back to the garage, and Louis is congratulating Latka for fixing 10 cabs in one day. And for a reward, he says Latka can tune up his Ma's car as a bonus. And there's some back and forth where he tries to convince Latka that, because Latka says, "This isn't a bonus. You're just giving me more work." And he says, no, this is a bonus. And then Latka goes over to Elaine and Alex and says, "Is a bonus good?" And they say, "Yeah, bonus is great. Everybody wants a bonus." And that mollifies Latka. And that's the end of that business back and forth. A little funny, but inessential.
I'm surprised he didn't show up to try and pull out Rieger's tooth.
Who, Louis?
No, Latka. Like, I'm surprised they didn't involve him into the B plot in some way instead of just making some lame joke with him.
Tony comes into the garage and gives Louis his bookings, and Alex, oddly for Alex, asks Tony about his weekend, specifically his date with Janet. Since when did Alex start looking for trouble? He knows that Bobby and Tony are squaring off for the love of this woman. It just seems odd for somebody who's made it his business not to poke his nose into other people's business. All of a sudden, he's like this. It's like he's at the hair salon and he's gossiping. So, how was your weekend? It's very un Alex like.
Elaine has gotten to him.
I guess the roles are reversed. I don't know. So Tony says he took her out on Friday and Bobby took her out on Saturday. And after Elaine starts chiding Tony about, quote, declaring a winner and claiming the prize, there's an odd moment where Tony says, Elaine, I don't know what you're getting so upset about. I don't know if you noticed this. I think there's something in the editing, but there's an awkward look between Tony and Elaine with no follow-up from either person. And
In
there's
the garage?
yeah, no, he says this line about, I don't know what you're getting so upset about. And they look at each other, but she doesn't give him any kind of retort. And there's almost this low chuckle coming from the audience. It really makes me think that there's something odd happening with the edit because there's
You
this
think
exchange.
There was a joke there that they had to pull out or something?
Something, but they look at each other. It's almost like the other one is waiting for the other person to come up with a line, like they've forgotten what their next cue is. Very weird. The episode is very uncharacteristic, sloppy in that way, I think.
Yeah, top to bottom here. It's not nothing is really working at all, right?
It really isn't. And I, yeah, I don't know. We'll continue to get into this, but it's really not working out.
Onward. Let's get through it.
Yeah, let's get through it. So Tony asks Elaine if they can talk man to man, which is exactly something that a child like Tony would say to a beautiful woman like Elaine, right? Side note, we have another Captain Marvel / Richard Sakai sighting in the background. He walks behind them as they're having this exchange. It's got to be Richard Sakai. Got to be.
All hail Sakai.
But the man he's a legend in my book already. I just think it's fantastic that he's been identified as this weirdo in the background.
Yeah, I this is my favorite sort of group of background characters in any sitcom. Like Cheers has some good ones, but this one's sort of unparalleled because we don't ever have to have any words with them at all, and we just keep enjoying their presence.
It's always wonderful texture in the background of the garage, even putting aside the ones that we've given nicknames to. There's always some old guy in like a page boy cap or a scally cap or some oddball character who's reading a newspaper.
All the caps.
Yeah, caps for sale, like that old children's book. But there's always some weird New York looking person in the background to make you believe that this is actually happening in this garage in the middle of New York. It's always fabulous. Elaine and Tony start talking, and Tony is asking Elaine, like, hey, do you think Bobby's like the best looking guy in the garage? He's clearly fishing for compliments like a child from
this
Elaine.
Was gross. This scene was gross.
It's really bad because she's trying to be very gentle with him and leading him along. And like a kind adult would be to a child, she validates him by saying, you're a good looking guy too. In my book, you're a 10. I wrote down nauseating. That's the only word I could think of to describe this part of the scene for me.
What she didn't say out loud was of 1,000.
Bobby then comes into the garage and he gives Louis his bookings, and immediately Tony starts grilling him on his date with Janet, and they both start one-upping each other about how great the date was, how terrific Janet is, et cetera, et cetera. And it all devolves into the race because they're going to try and make another date with her. So they start having this foot race to who can get to the payphone faster. But I will say this, Tony does do a pretty damn impressive hurdle over the mechanic's toolbox to get to the phone first. It's very athletic. I thought that was pretty impressive.
It's good physical comedy. Absolutely. Except the whole fucking setup is lame.
That's right. It's all for naught because the story is letting all of this down.
Yeah.
They start.
Don't you feel that way? Like any of the possible enjoyment, like what could have been at least a slight chuckle is just like, okay.
Yeah, it's.
Get it, you guys.
This is one of those cases where at this point, it's probably about 11 minutes into the episode, and I already feel like it's been an interminable watch. If this was a movie theater, I'd be checking my watch. Like, is this over? What's going on here? It feels like it crawls.
Molasses like this episode.
Yeah, there's not much going on in this episode, and what there is going on isn't really worth holding my attention.
HP, do you hear that?
Here, what?
The sound of yellow lights being turned off slowly.
Just winking out one at a time. Pretty much. We'll get to it. They're arguing over this payphone. And for some weird maybe it's not weird, but I think it's weird that this attracts the attention of literally everyone in the garage. They all stop what they're doing. They're reading their papers, they're eating their food. They all it's like E.F. Hutton again. They're all looking at them. And even Louis can help watching these shenanigans with a big grin on his face. So the whole garage grinds to a halt as the guys continue to argue over the payphone.
But you know what? Louis' presence is the only actual thing that made me laugh in the episode, because Elaine says, "Look, it's making Louis happy," and DeVito's just standing there, kind of like grinning.
Yeah, because the way that the shot is, like, she is off screen when she says, "Look, even Louis happy," or whatever she says, but the camera's squarely on him, and he looks like so eager and so happy about everything. He doesn't say a word, but he's just grinning, like, in a weird way.
He looks like a child who they just gave all the cake to.
Yeah.
You can't believe his good fortune. He's really selling it. He sells this better. He's selling the premise of this episode better than the main players.
Bobby basically says, without saying it, that Tony's a dummy that can't hold a decent conversation with Janet. And Louis then actually says, he makes it explicit.
One of those things where you say without saying, you're a dummy who can't hold up, can't hold a decent relationship. Like, whoops. Well, I meant to say you're okay in my book, but I guess I ended up saying you're a loser who can never have a decent relationship.
Yeah, it's so bad. Lunkhead Tony keeps pushing Bobby on this point, and eventually Bobby just concedes, like, yeah, I guess I did. I guess I did call you a dummy. And now Tony is really upset that Bobby is calling him stupid. And in Tony's primal rage, he demands that he hit Bobby. I mean, this is absurd. This is supposed to be his best friend, and all of a sudden he says, "I want to hit you." He's got to hit something, so he wants to hit Bobby. And Bobby, being Tony's intellectual superior, tells Tony that he'll hit himself. And this stops Tony cold in confusion. He doesn't know what to do at this point, because that's the last thing he expected to have happen, is for his opponent to say that he's going to hit himself.
Do you think Wheeler has done this before, like on the subway, where somebody was menacingly approaching him and he was just like, "Oh, no, you don't." And then he just started punching himself.
It's probably not a bad way to go. Act crazier than they are, and maybe they'll leave you alone.
Did Bobby Wheeler just create Fight Club?
It could be. This is the reveal of Tyler Durden. It could be Bobby. Who knows?
This season is heating up.
There's a lot of intrigue happening in this episode in particular.
I notice we only mythologize episodes when we're really bored with the episode itself.
We got to do something to make it interesting. Bobby again leans on his hammy acting to convincingly hit himself in the stomach. And the best part of this is Alex is watching and is recoiling in embarrassment for Bobby. He's watching this transpire, and you can just see that Alex is so horrified and so embarrassed for this spectacle that Bobby has made for himself. Tony makes him hit himself harder, which he does, but it's still not good enough. He wants him to hit him in the face, and this all is too much finally for Alex. He leaps in to break up Bobby's fight with himself. And that part is actually, I think, because Alex says, "Oh, I'm breaking up a fight with himself." It's one of the only vaguely funny moments where he's essentially breaking up the fight, but it's only Bobby that he's breaking it up with. I thought that was kind of
my pajamas. I'll never know.
It was. Are you saying it's a little Groucho? What he's doing?
A little bit, maybe a little bit vaudeville.
Vaudeville. So the two of them finally back off, but not before declaring that this Janet situation is, they say the word war. And this is so Brady Bunch. I think they actually did the same thing on several episodes. And may the best man win. I'm embarrassed even to write this down because it's so bad. We cut back to the garage. Sometime later, Bobby's back with his bookings. He hits Alex up for $30 so he can take Janet out. The side note, here we go. You know what's coming here. How much is $30 worth today? Because that doesn't seem like much. I mean, $30 is not going to get you very far in today's economy. But according to my favorite website, amortization.org. $30 in 1979. How much do you think it's worth today, Father Malone?
$96.50.
No, it is worth $135.93 in 2024 money. So it's not a trivial amount of money that he's asking to borrow from Alex, you know?
It's like $100 basically. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Alex, just give me $100 so I can go on a date with a girl.
It's
No.
it's very close to $150. That's a lot of money. Alex is complaining that between Bobby and Tony borrowing money from him, he's got no money because they keep hitting him up for cash so they can take her out to these expensive restaurants. And what follows actually may be my favorite part of the episode. And once again, it's due to Lotka / Andy Kaufman. He asks both Tony and Bobby about do you remember this part, Father Malone?
Oh, yeah.
He asks Tony and Bobby about their new girlfriend, and Lotka is surprised that they're both named Janet because he doesn't realize it's the same girl. And then they explain to him that it's the same girl, and Lotka stops in confusion and says, "Wait a minute. The way I'm not doing it justice, but he's like, you tell me that there's one girl and she loved the both of you and care for the both of you?" And they both say yes. And he replies, "Well, could I meet her?" Vaudeville.
Stop, man.
It's a silly bit, but there's something about the way that Lotka keeps repeating, "You tell me," as if he's almost angry, almost upset to hear about this arrangement. It's got nothing to do with anything, and yet I really, really enjoyed it. And it's all because of Kaufman once again.
Like, does she have a friend?
Tony asks Alex for $30, and that finally sets off Alex. Elaine, hearing all of this, hints to Tony and Bobby that they're going about this all wrong. She rightfully asks if either of them has talked with her about this arrangement or how Janet feels about it. Of course, the two of them have discussed none of this with Janet. They're only talking superficial stuff with her about how great she is.
How pretty she is and how beautiful she is and how lovely she is.
Yeah.
Elaine, then when she has proven that they're just superficial dickheads, there's only one avenue to explore: Thunderdome.
She's just disgusted with their cavalier take on this matter. And then Bobby suddenly gets really frustrated with Elaine and demands that she give him any better ideas on how to handle it. And her simple reply is, just go up to Janet and ask her which of the two of you she'd prefer to go on seeing. So they both agree that they're going to talk to Janet together at Mario's, but not before asking Alex. Like children, they're going to ask Alex to moderate for them. He angrily refuses, saying he's not going to get involved with their high school love triangle. He's right. Why should he get involved? And then Elaine, here's where the B plot creeps back in. Elaine says, well, that's a good thing because you've got a dental appointment in 30 minutes. And this immediately changes Alex's demeanor, and he marches out with Bobby and Tony as we fade out. So he's avoiding going to the dentist.
The B plot has joined the A.
It's terrible.
We're almost to the word bad. Just B and A together. We just need the D. Oh, that's the whole rest of this episode. Dialogue. That's what it is.
We fade in to the tightest zoomed in B-roll shot of the Mario's sign that I've ever seen. It's
Hang
so
on
tight.
a second, sir. Before we get there, while we're still in the garage, we have this fucking bizarre crane shot that zooms out over Elaine with these synth strings playing. Did you not register this?
I didn't.
It's so bizarre. She watches him go out, right? And then it's supposed to register like, oh, I can't believe that, Alex. But it's out of a Hitchcock film, the shot of her.
But are the synth strings, is it creating
it's not stabbing like Psycho or anything like that, but it's definitely a synthesizer. Like, they pressed strings and they're playing some notes. It's very unusual, this transition.
Now I want to go back and rewatch it. I didn't note that, but
I wouldn't.
We cut inside of Mario's as Tony is slatering as usual at a table. He's sitting there with Bobby and they're waiting for Janet.
Would you be surprised if he was just sitting on the table?
What was the character that Chris Kattan used to play on SNL where Mongo. He was like No, it wasn't Mongo, was it? He would eat the apple.
Yeah, it
was Mongo. I don't think it was Mongo.
It
was I don't know, but
Mango.
No, that was another Chris Kattan character.
No, Mango was the fucking feral boy who eats apples.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That was Mango, brother.
Chris Kattan. Let me see here. Mr. Peepers. That was the character's name.
What was Mango?
Mango was a nightclub chanteuse that these like the guest hosts would always fall in love with. Like Alec Baldwin would be on and he would fall in love with Mango.
That's right. Okay.
Right. But Mr. Peepers was this science experiment that was this feral man, and he would leap up onto tables. Are you suggesting that Banta would leap up on the table like Mr. Peepers and
Wouldn't you like
start
to see it?
I would love to see it.
And instead of an apple, like just a plate of pasta, just two-handed it.
Like a meatball, just a meatball.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I want to see that really badly.
While they're at the table waiting for Janet, Alex is nursing his bad tooth at the bar. And then Louis, of all people, strolls in. He starts throwing some casual insults at the cabbies. And what I think is funny is he even calls Alex Mary Worth, which might be one of the most dated references we've run into yet on Taxi. Do you know who Mary Worth was?
It's a comic strip character.
It was an old-timey newspaper comic strip that dates back to the 30s. And typically a story would involve a character who had some issues or some troubles, and Mary Worth would offer some sage advice or assistance. So,
it's a generational joke at Rieger's expense.
Apparently. So Louis parks himself at Tony and Bobby's table. He orders suds and declares himself eager to witness the festivities. Alex offers him $1 to leave, but he's undeterred. Alex ups his offer to $10, and Louis scrams, but not before, when he's passing Janet as she's walking in, says something like, dump the both of them. So she comes in and goes over to the two himbos at the table and kisses both of them hello, which is just, it's weird. Am I wrong? It's just, even in today, like that would be weird if this woman's dating these two guys and then she's at this restaurant with both of them and she's pretending like it's all normal. I mean, am I wrong about this? Am I old fashioned?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you are.
I figured as much.
We live in a much more progressive society.
Are you saying this episode is progressive for its time?
Yes, except it's not. It's regressive because there is no solution that doesn't involve hurt feelings or that they can't overcome their own jealousies over the affections of this one young lady. These two are anti-polyamory, the Wheeler and Banta.
Yeah, I guess that's more of an accepted practice nowadays, but I just found it sort of odd, like, because these two aren't the most progressive individuals, let's face it, but they're playing along with this whole thing. She comes in and she announces that Tony left his watch at her place and she had it engraved to Tony, the next heavyweight champ. But there's exactly 2 problems with this. Do you remember what those are?
He's a middleweight and it's Bobby Wheeler's watch.
Dun, 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 dun. It is a good joke, but it is very vaudeville.
And I like the idea of Wheeler wearing that watch and it says the greatest heavyweight champion.
It is funny. So they all sit down, except for Tony, who's slatering. He can't sit like a normal person, so he turns the chair around. And they defer to Alex to explain the situation, but Janet kind of plays dumb about dating both men at the same time, but and again, this is maybe progressive for its time. She doesn't really see why she has to choose one guy. Now, side note, Alex is, yeah, no, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But my side note is Alex is so flummoxed by her response that even he starts to slate her. Did you notice that? Like, he's the one who now turns his chair around and he's sitting backwards like Tony.
He's trying to get in the mindset of the dummies that he's surrounded by. What the hell is happening? This is Mario. This is my sacred place. This is my temple. What are you people doing in here?
But Bobby and Tony are undeterred. They explain that and maybe this is somewhat progressive, or maybe this is interesting that they admit this, that both of them, they're just not mature enough to go on with the situation as it is. Even though they both declare that they're prepared for her answer, they keep interrupting her response and ask her to mull it over some more. And Alex decides enough is enough and leaves the bar. He's done. While Janet is pondering her decision, Tony and Bobby hash out their differences finally, and they apologize for their behavior towards each other. Finally, Janet comes over, and again, she starts to deliver her verdict, but Bobby stops her. He says, no matter what her decision, one of them is going to be hurt. So he says he doesn't want to hear her decision. He says that his friendship to Tony is more important to him than that. And Janet, understandably, is frustrated by this, that neither of them want to continue dating her. So she gives him a piece of her mind, which I think is warranted in this case. She correctly points out to them that neither one seems to care about how she feels about this and what her decision is going to be. But regardless, she agrees that she doesn't want to come between two friends. But then just before she leaves, she can't help digging the knife in to get back at them a little bit. She does say that whomever she chose would have the time of their life that evening, which crushes the both of them. They're pained to hear this. And as a little button to the scene, she even goes against their tacit agreement by saying she was going to choose Bobby, which sends Bobby into this comical crying tantrum. It's all very embarrassing.
In a way, they're both losers, but in a truer, realer way, Wheeler is the big loser.
Wheeler's the big loser. He really is, because
he traded doors at the
like, let's make a deal.
Yeah, man, he took door number 3. That was a bad move. You know what? Here, it's supposed to be this happy ending between these friends. Like, they put everything aside. Put anything aside. These two don't trust each other to throw each other. They couldn't have simply just said, I'm good. If you like him better, I'll be the rational adult, and I wish you well. No, we have to fucking hate each other.
Yeah, they have to try to one up each other through the whole episode, and finally, but the worst part of it is they never give 1 ounce of thought towards how Janet feels about this and what her wishes are, who she wants to continue to date, or if she's just happy with the way things are, altogether. They don't care. To them, she's nothing more than an object. So they're getting what they deserve, especially Bobby.
Here's how the episode could have been redeemed. She goes to the door and says, ready, baby. She opens the door and says, ready, baby. And Louis says, come on. And then they leave.
That would have been a fitting end to these two arguing through the whole episode. So that's the end of the A plot. There's a bumper here, which I'm not going to get into. It's basically, finally, Elaine gets Alex to go to the dentist, but not before he tries to pretend that nothing's wrong. And hardy har har, he finally decides enough's enough, and he goes. So that's it. That's the end of the episode.
Right. He pretends that it's not painful at all, and then it's so painful that he rips the arm off a chair.
Yeah, which some good Foley work. It must be said. Like I really believe. Yeah, I really believe that he ripped the armrest off of that chair, because it looked like it was pretty solid. So anyway, that's the end of this episode. Now, as is our custom, we're going to talk about yellow lights.
What does a yellow light mean?
Reminder, we're scoring on a scale from 1 yellow light to 5 yellow lights. 1 yellow light being a terrible episode, and 5 yellow lights, the best Taxi episode. As is also our custom, we're going to start with you, Father Malone. What do you give A Woman Between Friends?
It's a streak this season. In season 2, giving it 2 yellow lights. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd episode in a row, maybe. I can't really recommend this one. It's not really worth a watch.
What's worth that? Well, let me back up for a minute. I will tell you, I gave this 1 yellow light.
Yeah.
I found this very inconsequential, not especially funny. It had a feeling, I keep saying this, but it had a feeling of a typical sitcom sibling rivalry episode, like something out of Different Strokes or Facts of Life. But what in your case, what's worth that extra yellow light?
We get a full dose of Kaufman here without having to involve him in the show in any real way, which is lovely. And there are little good bits here and there. I don't know. when it comes to this, I'm hesitant to give it a 1 yellow light because that is basically like actively saying don't watch it. I won't say don't watch this episode, but I think there are a couple of charms here and there. There's some bits that made me laugh.
You make some good points, and I'm going to change my score. I'm going to give it 2 yellow lights. You've convinced me, because if I were to give it 1 yellow light, you're right. I would be saying, don't see this episode. Don't take the time to watch it. If it comes on TV, turn the channel. I can't say it's that bad. I wouldn't necessarily seek it out on its own, but I can see your point. I guess it's not the worst episode, but it's pretty close. So I changed my mind. I'm going to give it 2 yellow lights. So
Hey,
that's
at
fair.
the very least, you get to see Nardo cementing her plans for the future of Sunshine Cab now.
That's right. She's making her Machiavellian sort of
We got
machinations.
Dark Nardo.
That's something that therapist, I don't trust that guy. He's putting all sorts of thoughts into her head. She was never
that
the same
painting.
after that.
Once she got her eyes on that painting, she was never the same.
Is it like a night gallery situation where it has powers? It hypnotizes her?
Absolutely. Rod Serling was in that episode, remember?
So that'll do it for this episode of Night, Mr. Walters. Father Malone, where can the folks find you when you're not clocked into the garage?
You can find me pretty much primarily at Midnight Viewing, which is the horror anthology podcast, but it's also Midnight Viewing Anthologies Attack, which is anthology stuff that isn't horror. And there's also Father Malone's weekly roundup where I look at current stuff. That's a weekly show. So it's actually Midnight Viewing is now a twice weekly show. I'd say go over to weirdingwaymedia.com or any podcatcher of choice, Midnight Viewing. You'll find me there.
Nice. And for myself, you can find me in the same nooks and crannies. I'm on the Weirding Way network as well. I've popped up occasionally here and there on the Culture Cast with Chris Stashew. I've also appeared here and there with my esteemed colleague Father Malone. In fact, I've been on that wrap-up show. Had some fun with that.
Oh yeah.
And of course, as is my custom, I will entreat you to go seek out Dark Destinations, also by Father Malone, because great storytelling, wonderful production. You can't go wrong.
The best part of it is the music, which is HP does all.
Come on now. So anyway, thanks again for listening. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, or rate us. We'd love to hear from you in any way you see fit. For myself and for Father Malone, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Night, Mr. Walters.